It's time for Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network. Tiger Talk is brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis. Banking one story at a time. The Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute. Comprehensive cutting-edge care giving you every reason to choose Hayes Med. United Rentals. Your partner for equipment rental, sales, and service. VTI. Your John Deere dealer. With locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. VTI. Our family in partnership with your family. The Taco Shop. Order by phone or use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. The Taco Shop. You've never had it so good. Royal Roofing. Give your home the royal treatment with Royal Roofing. And Eagle. Our community connected. Now, Tiger Talk with the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And a good morning and welcome into Tiger Talk. We'll be talking basketball. Mark Johnson here in just a little bit. Talia Cars of the Tiger women, both coming off a couple of wins this past week. They've got one more week of non-conference this week, the Thanksgiving week, and then MIAA play beginning that first week of December. So the season rapidly flying by. A lot of games in a short period of time, and we'll review the past week and preview what's coming up here again this week in Fort Hays State basketball. We'd love to hear from you. You can chime in with a question. All you have to do is go to the FHSU Athletics website, FHSUathletics.com. Click on the fans tab. You'll get that drop-down menu, and there at the very bottom right, you'll see Tiger Talk Ask the Coach. Submit your question, and if we use it, a chance to win that Mix 103.3 T-shirt. Tigers will be on the road. The women will be on the road. They'll be headed to Denver for a couple of games. The men will be at home. Tomorrow is the big elementary school game. That'll be a noon tip, so that'll be a lot of fun. Should be a fun atmosphere. And then Saturday afternoon, Manhattan Christian in a non-conference game. If you want to get out of the house during the Thanksgiving weekend, head to the Coliseum for some Fort Hays State basketball. We'll preview all of that as we move along in the program. We bring in head coach Mark Johnson. Tigers get a couple of wins, played their first road game of the year. They were in South Dakota, Rapid City, South Dakota, took on South Dakota Mines, and then back at home yesterday for a win over Bethel. And a first road game, you never know, and you're coming off a couple of tough ones at home, and you hit the road, long bus trip, and thought your team handled pretty well against an improved South Dakota Mines squad. That was a good win.
Yeah, they're definitely better. Better than they were a year ago when we played them here. I mean, kind of got off to an average start, I would say, and then Dan just had that special night. 35. What do you have? 34 points.
34 and 15.
Yeah, I mean, and then he had 22 and 8. I'd be, you never know how they do that, but I would be disappointed if he's not the MIAA player of the week. Yeah. But sometimes I feel like our guys don't get it when they deserve it. But he really carried us, got off to a great start. I think he scored like our first 12 points, and then we just kind of hung on from there. Thought Lucas had one of his better games. Almost had a triple-double, 12 points, 10 assists, 8 rebounds. So he had a really good performance, and I thought everybody else was just solid in what we did. And then, we turn around and play a Bethel team that is much more talented than, these KCAC teams are getting better. They're not looking like the KCAC teams of old. You look at in warm-ups even yesterday, I mean, the size, the length is very similar to a MIAA team, and really handled the press well. They pressed the whole game. You really never know how you're going to handle that. We didn't score for a couple minutes, for 5 or 6 minutes, but at the end of the day, we didn't turn the ball over, and we had Dan was good again, Kyle was good, Mo had one of his better games. So good week for us as we're getting closer to conference play, trying to get some guys going a little bit, get them some confidence. Our three-point shooting still isn't where we need it to be if we're going to win at a high level in the MIAA.
Just talk about the trip. I mean, that was like an old Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference trip when you played Fort Lewis and some of the far trips just for the one game. You sit around all day. They had a chance to go to Mount Rushmore, so they got a little bit of culture and history along the trip. But those aren't always easy, and especially when it's your first one right out of the gate. Yeah, it wasn't like your normal conference.
Yeah, trip. I mean, they're long trips. You just kind of makes you off a little bit. Even your clock, we're playing at Mountain Time, so there was a girls' game before our game, so we probably didn't tip till closer to 8:15 Hayes time, which is a little late for us and unusual, so you never know how you're going to respond. The big thing, I think Dan wasn't very happy with his St. Paul performance on Sunday. Dan's a good player. He knows he's a good player, wants to have a really good year. and I think he just came out a little bit with a mission that night and was ready to go and played fantastic and got his jump shot going early. But, yeah, those are never easy. I thought, we were able to go up there to Mount Rushmore. I thought just broke up the day. Sometimes the hardest day isn't the travel day. Sometimes it's being in a hotel all day long before you play at 8 o'clock at night. So at least that allowed us to go kill a little bit of time and not just be hanging out in a hotel room. And I know our guys from like New York and Chicago thought that. I don't think they were expecting to get to see Mount Rushmore. And so they got to, send a lot of pictures home to mom and dad and all that. So that was a good experience for our guys.
Yeah, even got a chance to talk to Dan after the game, sent some home to his family in Germany. And he mentioned one of the, I guess, challenges from the coaching staff was his mid-range jumper. He can shoot the three. We've seen that. And obviously, the toughness on offense, and we've seen that evolve. But he's really worked on that mid-range game, and they gave that to him early. So he took it. He was hitting that 15-footer. That's where he got a lot of his points early in that contest.
Yeah, I know in today's world, especially young coaches, they're really into analytics. 3-pointers made layups, 3-pointers made layups. To me, still the best players can play in between. You can play at all three levels. Good defenses aren't going to give you wide open threes and aren't going to give you layups. So you have to be able to score in between. And Dan, his ability to drive at 6'8", well, it's hard for him to drive from the 3-point line and be effective. But if you get him at the high post area, and like I said, if he can make him honest with his shot, now he's just got to take 2 dribbles and get to the rim. He's talented enough and athletic enough to do that. So I feel like his 3-pointers are fine, but really when he can make his mid-range shot, that makes him really effective and makes him the player he is now.
Well, and he really, it's been fun to watch him progress. You get those transfers in. It was a bit of a slow start last year. You could kind of see it mid-season and toward the end. He was maybe taking it to another level. And he's carried that through the offseason. And I know you said he has to have a big year for Fort Hays State to be successful, and he's off to a tremendous start.
Yeah, he went Division I, and sometimes when you're a young guy and you go to Division I, and at that stage of your career, you're the probably 9th or 10th man, and the coaching staff probably isn't spending as much time with you. The big thing for Dan is like when we recruited him, luckily I knew someone and watched practice every day at Denver, and they're like, hey, I'm telling you, I know he's not getting a ton of minutes, but this guy has ability. He can be a very good player if given the chance. So that's why we took a chance on him, and the whole thing, even the recruiting process, wasn't so much, hey, your skill set is pretty good there. We got to work on the other part of it and understand sometimes the game is different over here. We're much more, I feel like, physical league, defensive oriented over here. You got to be, things like that and really compete. And that's the area that we really focused on. And like I said, the good thing is, like, Dan's such a great guy. It's nice to see players do those things and make those adjustments and become the player they're capable of being, and no one deserves that more than Dan. It's important to him, and he's figuring out how to be successful. So it's just been a nice thing to be able to, not everybody takes coaching. We coach Dan pretty hard, and a lot of kids today can't deal with that, and Dan knows that's coming from the right reasons, and it's only for the benefit of him, and he's taken that and ran with it, and it's I'm happy he's getting success for it.
And you mentioned Lucas, nearly the triple-double. He's done a pretty decent job at the point guard. It's different than we've talked about it before. He's not his brother. He goes about it differently, but he's done a pretty decent job, and I think probably what you like is you've kind of cut the turnovers down the last couple of games. They're a little bit higher early on than you'd like, and it seems like that's starting to trend in a better direction.
Yeah, they're obviously different. Not the explosiveness of Caleb. Lucas is probably a little more crafty around the rim. His Caleb probably, the things he struggled with a little bit was floaters. He was a good pull-up guy. Lucas doesn't really shoot pull-ups, but he's really good at floaters. He just kind of has that knack. Lucas kind of gets some things done maybe you don't think he's going to be able to get done. But excuse me here. But yeah, he's done well. We're having to put the ball in his hands, and him and Mo. And like I said, it was nice to see Mo make a three and kind of make his shots yesterday because he gives us a little more athleticism. So they're a nice little combo at times.
Well, and I'm guessing that game probably comes from Lucas and Caleb playing in the backyard because Lucas is a little bit taller, so Caleb had to shoot them a little bit,
yeah.
and then he was able, and Lucas was able to drive on him to the basket.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of backyard battles between those guys, and Caleb was a little older and a little quicker, so Lucas had to figure out just to be more crafty. Like I would say, definitely Lucas is a little more creative in his game. Creative off. If you look the way. Between the legs, cross, whatever, to try to find angles. And like I said, he's got a really good float game with his left hand. And that's probably, growing up playing against older brother in the backyard all the time.
Well, that was a good game for them. Tigers got the win up in South Dakota by the final of 68-52, and then knocked off Bethel yesterday. Coach touched on it. We'll touch more in detail. And, of course, getting ready for a couple of more games this week. They'll be at home tomorrow, noon. You may see some schedules. When it was printed, it was still kind of up in the air. Some say 7, but it is a noon tip-off tomorrow for Fort Hays State and Sterling. Tiger Talk brought to you by Golden Belt Bank, banking one story at a time. Golden Belt Bank of Hays and Ellis. Visit them at goldenbeltbank.com. More with Coach Mark Johnson when we return on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
So I had a gentleman come into Golden Belt Bank, very confused with an estimate of closing costs and fees he received from another bank. And I said I would sit down with him and go over these costs. We also issued some closing costs and fees that he could compare. He ended up choosing Golden Belt Bank as his bank. I would do that for anybody that walked in here, anybody that was confused. I really do want them to get the best deal that they can. We try and do everything possible to make their dream come true. Golden Belt Bank, one story at a time.
Tigers turn it over, just their 5th of the game on the other end. Layup blocked. Makuna blocked the layup, but Gray Thompson. Fort Hays State has it. It's Fortino racing up the floor. He throws it down with one hand. Oh, what a play by Jabari. His 7th of the game on a stuff in transition. Some of the action from Wednesday night up in Rapid City. Tigers knocking off South Dakota Mines to, at that time, get their 2nd win of the year. They're now 3-1 after a win yesterday over Bethel College. Hey, sync up the radio broadcast with the MIAA Network video feed. Listen to us on the TuneIn app. Pause whichever device is, if it's your video or the audio is ahead, pause it right before tip-off or on a big play. Let the other catch up, and you can sync up the radio call with the video stream from the MIAA Network, or in the women's case this week, the RMAC Network, as they head out to Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference country. Fort Hays State winning yesterday, Sunday afternoon game. They've had a couple of Sunday games in a row now. Beat Bethel College, and you touched on it. It's one of your typical Bethel team, and I know you're concerned, and you watch them. They've kind of revamped how they go about it. They've got a veteran team. They're athletic. They press all the time, and I thought you guys really did a pretty good job. I can think of maybe one time you gave them a breakaway layup on a turnover with the press. Did a really good job against that because it's something you really haven't seen a lot and don't see a whole lot throughout the season.
Yeah, I mean, they press you not only on made baskets, dead balls, but they really trap the rebounder and basically keep their press on a missed shot for them. So I thought we did a good job. You really couldn't get it. We really couldn't get into our offense. We really feel like that's happening a lot this year so far. I mean, Southwest Minnesota was about the only team that's played straight up regular defense, kind of like we do. Feel like we haven't gotten to a lot of games. Everybody's either switching a lot of action. Even South Dakota's Mines played kind of a weird defense where they were 10 feet off the ball screen and Dan was open every time, right away off that. So, there's things guys just having to figure it out. And I thought we did a really good job of, against that press. We didn't want to get caught up in their game. They want to win 110-100. I thought our guys did a very good job of attacking the press and scoring when we were supposed to. And then when we beat it, but it wasn't a great shot to bring it back out and run some offense and kind of get at our pace. And, I thought we guarded pretty well. We still at times – rebounding's a little bit of a struggle, which is disappointing. But, we're getting our numbers down. You look at our field goal percentage defense, our three-point field goal percentage, which I felt like after the first opening weekend it was a little high. Our three-point field goal percentage defense was. And again, St. Paul's good. I mean, they went and played their first conference. They had a weird deal where both teams were playing Thanksgiving, so they did their first conference game against Winona State, an NCAA tournament team from a year ago, and they put it on them over 30. I mean, I would assume, barring injury, when we look back at the end of the season, St. Paul will be one of the top teams we played all season long. They were really good, but we did a better job the last two games of limiting three-point shooting percentage.
And you hit some threes yesterday. I think you're at the 2.8 per game. We joked how you may be last at every level of basketball going in. You're at 2.3 made threes per game, and that's not going to be a strength of this team. It's got to get better, but it kind of trended, especially in the second half. You shot it much better after halftime.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to make some threes. I mean, we're not, we're putting the ball in hands, Dan and all that. Dan's not going to shoot a whole lot of threes. Even Javari will shoot them, but he's more of a downhill pull-up guy. And you look at Lucas, same thing. They're going to take selective threes. So this is a team that's not going to take a lot, but we need to be shooting. I think we're at 25% as a team. I would say we need to move that up. And in this time of year, I mean, that's a couple, you make three more than you have all this year, and then all of a sudden your 25% goes to 35%. So hopefully, we'll get that going. But, I mean, I do think, yesterday we took 30 free throws. We're a team that has not really been able to throw it inside and get it close to the rim. I feel like part of our struggles the last few years offensively was we were just a jump shooting team, and we were at the mercy of do we make our shots or not, because we just really couldn't, outside of Caleb getting to the rim every now and then, we just had no really way to get easy baskets. I think now you got Eli, you can throw it to Dan, even Kyle can attack closeouts, and we're more physical at the rim. Lucas can get to the rim a little bit. So I think, we have the ability to get it closer to the rim, either easier shots or get to the foul line a little bit more, and then but still we need to make more threes than we are. We can't. It's going to be hard to make 2.8 all year and expect to win. I mean, we got to, last year I think we were only at 5, so it's not like we need to make a lot more, but I mean, if we can just make 2 more, that's a big difference for us.
Good to see Kyle get on track and hit a couple of threes, and the way he hit them, in motion, no hesitation. He got him to go in the second half, and just good to see him play well. He's been kind of up and down, and we obviously know what he's capable of because we saw it all of last year, but his first career double-double, 21 and 11, tied his career high in rebounding, and I know he said he really focused on rebounding better yesterday, and that was a good job by him.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, rebounding's been a little bit of a struggle for us, so he's got to be one of those guys. He's a big, strong guy that can come flying in on the defensive end and get those rebounds. At times, offensively, I don't know how well we're going to – offensive rebound, we're not the quickest, but we have guys that can run in there, get momentum, and can get off the ground. And Kyle did a very good job with that, and we're going to need that the rest of the year from him. And, he was just so phenomenal in preseason shooting the ball. I think, like I said, we've talked about this before, but we stat every day and the whole thing from the moment they get here and we play. And I want to say he was at 53% going into the KU game. And, well, that's just high level. You know what I mean? You're not going to sustain that. So I think, but, hopefully you're going to have some time, in a whole year, you're going to have a time where you don't shoot as well, just like I'm assuming, in baseball, there's going to, even the great ones, there's a time they have a stretch of, a little bit of a slump. So hopefully he just remains aggressive with that, and he'll get himself out of it.
You mentioned Mohamed Kante. Second half, got some points and kind of got a little bit of rhythm going against South Dakota Mines, and it carried over. 13 yesterday. He hit a 3. I mean, he's a guy, we've seen flashes of it, but now he's starting to put a couple together and hopefully can and continue that because he could be a big piece.
Yeah, I mean, we need all the help we can get in the backcourt, and he can get downhill. He can create for others. Same thing, another guy that shot it pretty well in practice. It just really hasn't carried over to the games. Again, he's a conscientious, good kid, wants to do well, wants to help our team win. And sometimes they put a little pressure on themselves when the game starts instead of, the big thing I tell Dan after the Sunday's game with St. Paul and all these guys, when you feel like you're struggling, you got to find a way to get a layup or get to the free throw line. It's amazing how they can change your mentality. You make a layup, it gets in, and then now all of a sudden you feel a little more confident about the next shot. Same thing, free throws. And so I thought Mo's done a better job of getting to the basket and getting himself a few layups to kind of get his confidence going.
Did a great job yesterday at the line. 26 of 30 as a team. Dan went 11 for 12, and Kyle went 9 out of 10. You got some youngsters in, some new guys for the first time making their debuts. That's always nice. And the new redshirt rule that carries into basketball, you want 30% of your games games, you can still redshirt as a freshman. So some of those guys got their first taste of collegiate basketball yesterday.
Yeah, it's an interesting rule. I mean, it's a good rule, but for us trying to figure it out, do you want to, like even yesterday, it's like, do I want to put Teagan and David in? Because then you're worried about what if we have major injuries and we could use them the last 9 games of the year, where before you had no one to bail you out. So, but they wanted to get in and all that. And, yeah, David, you can see he's an athletic kid. He's an aggressive kid. He can get downhill. Teagan's upside is extremely high. I mean, he's a kid just figuring it out. He's 6'6", 6'7", long, bouncy, really athletic, can shoot it. His biggest thing is he needs to get a little bit bigger, stronger. And he's from Marshfield, Missouri, being at a small high school, he had to guard the center. So he's figuring out at our level how to guard on the perimeter. But he has a big upside. Ben, I don't know if we're going to redshirt Ben. I mean, we might need to have Ben. You see Ben's physical guy, tough guy, just kind of has really good rebound. I don't know if that's shown yet, but, I mean, he can rebound the basketball. Good enough shooter. Kind of sneaky off the bounce. Makes more things happen than you think. Even at South Dakota Mines, just a little thing in the first half to give us separation. He kind of drove and created that three-pointer for Lucas in the last minute to get us up by 8. You look yesterday when he first got in, he had a nice move in the paint. He kind of overpowered guards at times. So, I mean, we're still up in the air. He's got 3 games down, 6 to go before we make that decision. But a lot of that depends on Juju. I just don't know where Juju is. He tried to play yesterday, still having some issues. I don't know what the long term for this season is for Juju, and obviously without Juju, we're going to have to play Ben. So hopefully we'll get some clarity here in the next week or two.
That's going to ask you about that. I guess that's the only negative about yesterday. We saw him play a little bit, and then took himself out. It looked like.
Yeah, he's. Yeah, I mean, it's just one of those calf strains. You got to. The only way to truly have it heal is probably sit out for a month or so or more, and it's a senior year. Is that what you want your senior year to be, only play a little bit of the season? So trying to debate there again before if we just pull and maybe look at getting a medical red shirt. But we're going to, we'll let that play out here the next week or two and see what happens there.
Tiger Talk brought to you by United Rentals of Hayes, your partner for equipment rental, sales, and service. Whether it's big or small, find it all at United Rentals. And you can look your best on Tiger Game Day with official Nike gear from BSN Sports and the Sideline Store. Go to FHSUathletics.com. There you'll find hundreds of products and designs, and they're all customizable. FHSUathletics.com. Click on Shop and open up the new Tiger Team Store. Fort Hays State at home tomorrow, a noon game. Some matinee midweek basketball for Fort Hays State on this Thanksgiving week. Sterling College comes to town, Manhattan Christian on Saturday. We'll get a preview next after this time out here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PWC from Eagle.
At BTI, we pride ourselves on providing quality John Deere equipment and customer support. Since 1944, BTI has been serving farmers and commercial operators with mowers, tractors, and compact construction equipment at an affordable price. As a leader in the ag industry, BTI offers complete technology solutions so our farmers can help keep America running. Experience the BTI difference for yourself.
Call BTI.
Our family in partnership with your family.
Brill trying to attack on the right wing. Throws it out high to Conte. Bo to his right. Now down the lane. Gets to the rim. He'll lay it in. Mohamed Conte, who kind of got on a roll the other day, scored 8 down the stretch against South Dakota Mines. He has 6 in this first half. 13-9. Fort Hays State matching their big lead here with 8:08 to go in the first half. Now some of the action from yesterday. Tigers knocking off Bethel at the Coliseum. Welcome back to Tiger Talk, brought to you by BTI, your full-service John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family, in partnership with your family. Gerard Welbrock, head coach Mark Johnson. Tigers, couple of home games again this week in non-conference play. Tomorrow at noon, Sterling College comes to town. Then Saturday at 2, Manhattan Christian will be on the docket as Fort Hays State plays a couple of games here during the Thanksgiving break at Fort Hays State. And tomorrow's always a fun game. The noon tip, all the elementary schools. It's one of the loudest games of the year, and it's just always a lot of fun. A lot of great energy from the kids at the game, and it's just always a fun contest every year.
Yeah, for sure. Our guys enjoy it. It's a great experience. Appreciate all the schools doing it. Even warm-ups, so they like to see our guys dunk. You know what I mean, and get the excitement. You hear cheers just even when we get loud cheers and warm-ups. So it's a fun game. Obviously, we need to come out there and put on a good performance and find a way to get the win. Again, Sterling in the KCAC. Now, them and Bethel haven't played each other yet, but Sterling, I think, is 3-0 or 4-0 in conference. Got a couple really talented players. Got a really talented guard. So we'll have to come out there and like I tell our guys all the time, it doesn't matter who you play. Everybody has good players. Everybody has some talented guys. You have to earn victory. No one's just going to give you a victory. You have to go in there and earn it by playing hard, competing, and executing and doing the right things.
Well, we've noticed these KCAC schools, even 10 years ago, it's like maybe one guy could play in the MIAA, maybe, and now it's like there's about 3 of them that would fit in with anybody's roster.
Yeah, you look at yesterday, number 15 and 4 could easily play in our league, and not only play, be successful players, not just be on a team. And Sterling, the same way, got a couple guys like that, and that's just the things have changed for different requirements and stuff like that, and then they're getting some guys that are capable players.
And then you'll have Manhattan Christian. I know they've dealt with some injuries and have maybe struggled a little bit, but here's your final 2 tune-ups for conference, because then next week you go to Central Missouri and Washburn to begin MIAA play. So, this season's kind of been a blur. You have a lot of games in a short period of time, and conference just around the corner.
Yeah, we had the calendar started a little bit late for us, so we had a week less in non-conference season. I believe tomorrow's game will be our 5th game in 11 days. So that's a lot of games. So, yeah, have to get it all in as quick as possible. Probably not getting to practice as much as I would like. The players probably like that. But, then we have Thanksgiving here, give a couple of days off. So we'll get on Monday and have about 3 days to really get back to kind of practicing and getting prepared for a much improved, a different Central Missouri team, and I know we'll have time to talk about that in a week or so. And then obviously Washburn is just rolling everybody, so we got a lot coming at us here.
All right, sounds good. Well, enjoy the game tomorrow. Dustin will be on the call. I'll be out in Colorado for the women's 2 games out in Denver, but Dustin will be on the call. We'll be on there at 11:30 tomorrow with a noon tip-off, the Tigers and Sterling College. Coaches, always appreciate the time, and good luck this week, and we'll see you on Saturday.
All right, thanks, Troy.
That's Mark Johnson, head coach of the Fort Hays State Tigers, again at home tomorrow to noon with Sterling, then 2 o'clock Saturday, Manhattan Christian. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Taco Shop. Order by phone. Use the Taco Shop app. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. You've never had it so good. Talia Cars, head women's coach, joins us next. This is Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
Looking for unique flavor at low prices? Look no further than Taco Shop in Hays. We have original, made-from-scratch Mexican food, sure to satisfy an empty stomach. Take a bite out of these delicious deals. Grab a beef or cheese enchilada, bite into a beef and bean burrito, or chow down on a Sancho. Save time with our free Taco Shop app. Have delicious fresh taste in just a few taps. Dine in, get it to go, or have it delivered. Taco Shop. You've never had it so good.
Come on down to the taco shop. You never had it. You never had it so good. Down to the taco shop.
Here's Levy, top of the key, backdoor to Weeder. Makes a one-handed catch on the baseline, saves it into Mortensen, gives it to Levy, layup good! Oh, what a play! Weeder saved it from going out of bounds. Levy gets the layup. Timeout, Eastern New Mexico. That was a big play on Friday. Fort Hays State knocking off the Greyhounds of Eastern New Mexico at the Newman Classic in Wichita. Welcome back to Tiger Talk. It's brought to you today by Royal Roofing, the #1 local roofing company. Roofing, guttering, siding, windows. Call today for a free estimate and give your home the royal treatment with Royal Roofing. Tigers got a couple of wins in Wichita. Hard-fought win over Eastern New Mexico. A really good team from the Lone Star, and then had a fun one with William Jewell on Saturday to go to 4-0. And you knew that Eastern New Mexico game, Coach, was going to be a tough one as Talia Cars joins us now. They've had 20 wins, I think, a year ago. A lot of players back, very talented, very athletic. They press a lot. It just, they make things difficult. And Well, a couple of times looked like you're ready to run away from them. They made a run, but then in the final 2.5 minutes, an 8-0 run to close it out. That was a good, solid win.
Yeah, he's definitely used the transfer portal well. He's put a nice group together that he gets them to work hard and play hard, and he gets everybody even amount of minutes, really. And so you're just playing against 9 or 10 people pretty consistently, where we weren't playing that many people. It wears you down.
And it was just an interesting game, just their style of play, and I know you turned it over quite a bit in that one, but you also distributed well. You had 24 assists on 28 made baskets, and you're able to do enough on the offensive end to kind of overcome those turnovers on the defensive when you didn't do it as well.
Yeah, I thought we did a good job of when they were up in us, making the right cut, and we were ready to make the right pass, and it needs to happen in about 2 seconds, and so I thought we did a really good job of recognizing when they were open, when we could get them the ball. We kept our eyes up and really didn't run a ton of offense. They were just cutting and making basketball plays. Moved to the ball for the most part, but there were obviously opportunities for them, and we turned it over. But I thought we did a really good job of just taking what they gave us and making a basketball play.
Talk about that. I mean, you run set plays, you run an offense, but you also have some gals who can create and do it on their own. How much freedom does everybody have? And is it, does the game maybe dictate when maybe they have a green light, just, hey, just go do something, make something work?
Yeah, something we've talked about a lot is shot selection early in the game versus late in the game when we're ahead, using the clock when we should use the clock. So we've talked about that, and that kind of applies to everybody. But going into that first game, we knew we probably weren't going to play a lot of offense, weren't going to run a lot of sets. I mean, and so they were kind of ready for that. They were ready for them to be up in them and make them do something that they maybe weren't comfortable with or a little bit uncomfortable. And I thought we handled it for the most part pretty well. We're strong with the ball, and we're able to, again, go make a basketball play.
Telexa Weeder, I thought, showed, just her maturity and how she handled that game, because there should have been a foul called every possession. I mean, they were grabbing her and tugging on her and fouling her. They wouldn't even let her move to even make a play on the ball. And you look at the end of the day, she scores 25 points. But I thought showed great composure because, maybe Telexa last year, even as a freshman, maybe loses it a little bit and just, understandably the frustration, but just to stick to her game and she got free throws and then just, hit some big shots down the stretch, I thought showed a lot about her maturity now as a junior.
Yeah, no, I thought they did a great job on her. They knew that they had to be physical with her, make her work to even catch the ball, and they did that, and then we weren't getting the calls that we thought we should get, and so her composure, I don't know that there's many basketball players that could go through what she went through that day and you wouldn't have known. Just looking at her body language, looking how she stepped up to the line, when the whistle maybe wasn't called like she thought, there was hardly ever a response from her, and I think you saw that late in the game. She was able to just kind of keep her head down, keep doing what she could do and knocking down shots and then still getting to 25 points.
Yeah, a couple other big performances. Olivia Mortensen scored 17 in the game, had 4 rebounds, and just fun to watch her as a freshman. And obviously she's still got a lot of things to learn, but you can just see the potential there. And she's had a couple of big games already this year and certainly needed every one of those points on Friday.
Yeah, no, if I was having to guard her, she's not somebody I would want to have to deny in the half court especially. She's tough to guard. She's always just going to cut really hard. She's explosive in that first step. And so whoever was put on her had a big, just as big as T as far as just trying to keep her in front of you and not let her make the right play because she just cuts so hard. And then Brooke can see her usually and get her the ball, and then she's able to finish off of 2 feet around the hoop.
And you mentioned Brooks, 14 assists, career high, single game high in Fort Hays State, and she was remarkable just distributing the basketball. That was really fun to see.
Yeah, I thought in that second game, Ellie, especially in transition, did a great job of kind of slowing down, and then when she saw the opportunity to go, she went, and Brooke was able to get them a lot of fast break points. She didn't have to work too hard for those 14 assists. Our kids just ran the floor really hard, and she just got the ball where it needed to go like she always does.
Yeah, she really does a really good job, and we've talked about it before. It looked like she's maybe looking to score a little bit more, and there are a few times that she got to the rim and got points out of the deal.
Yeah, no, she's doing a good job at attacking the basket when we can get a screen, especially when Telexa's screening her because they're so worried about Telexa. She's able to kind of get that step off of them, and she's great coming off a ball screen, and right now there's not a lot of help in there, so she's able to get all the way to the basket.
Well, it was a good win, and it was an interesting game. They had one of their players who was injured on a screen and probably should be upset with their teammates for not calling it out, ran right into Telexa. So there was a delay. Then another player had an issue going to the locker room at halftime. You had a couple of long delays. That's not always easy to handle. You stay in the locker room a long time. It seemed like your team handled all the kind of just a weird situation really well.
Yeah, it was. We figured out maybe that a couple of the kids maybe need a heat pack at halftime, that game especially. And so it was like, is it because of the delay at half? Because I think we were in there at least 10 minutes longer than normal, or do we need to make this a common thing? And so that was good to kind of figure out if they do need that at halftime to make sure they're ready to go in the second half. But I thought they came in even with that long delay. I mean, there was lots of things for us to talk about because we didn't play super well in that first half. And so I felt like we got a lot done at halftime, and we came back out and did what we needed to do.
You look, you're 4-0, but in 3 of the 4 games, it's come down to the wire. You had some big leads the first weekend in St. Joe, kind of let them squander, and you had to play well down the stretch. And this one here, you're up by 11, I think, early in the fourth. They get it tied with about 2.5, and then you control the last 2.5 minutes. Is teams having to win games, tight games? It may not look like it on the score sheet, but these 3 of the 4 games have really come down to the wire, and I think your team seems to have handled that pretty well.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. Winning a tight game isn't always easy, and in the past we haven't done that super well. Last year we did okay, but before that we struggled a little bit with it, and so it's been fun for them to just kind of put their heads down and continue just to work and get hoops when we need them, but also get stops late in the game that we needed to get done. And I think part of it is my rotations. I still got to figure out who we can play with who and not give up a lead. And I think really our bench on Saturday did a phenomenal job, and I didn't really need to worry about any of it because they all just played really well together. But in those tight games, I got to figure out the rotation better.
But we'll talk more about Saturday's win over William Jewell. We'll preview a couple of tough ones out in Colorado this week. Tigers will take on a good CU Colorado Springs team on tomorrow, and then they will be back in action Wednesday against MSU Denver in Denver. We're going to take a break. We'll come back, talk more about the weekend, and preview what's up this week. That's coming up next here on Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
The Taco Shop is
being hounded out there by Lockett. Goes behind the back, plays it to Weeder, catches, shoots, put it into the left hand. Tigers by 4. Telexa Weeder with back-to-back layup. Yeah, that was part of that 8-0 run to close out the game on Friday to win over Eastern New Mexico, 74-66. Saturday, Fort Hays State beat William Jewell 90-54. Got off to a great start, led 27-13 after 1. And we're up 47-21 at halftime. And Coach mentioned got to bring in a lot of new faces, a lot of players, and those are, you haven't had any of those this year. It's kind of fun to have a game where you weren't on pins and needles down to the end. You got some young players, some valuable minutes, and I thought they really, as you said, rose to the occasion, played really, really well. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, it was. I thought they were just sitting there ready to come in off the bench and maybe even play a little bit better than our starters did, just from fatigue probably. But I thought they did just a great job of executing. We weren't expecting to see them play zone, and so I thought we adjusted to that well. That was the first quarter was a little rough, I thought, just because we weren't ready for it. But after we figured out kind of what we wanted to run, what we were looking for, I thought we did a really good job of executing against a zone that we hadn't really seen a lot of this year yet. And I'm not worried about it because we have enough kids that can make shots, and we're good passers. So I think that kind of defeats the zone, but we just all the way around it was just a good team win.
And this was the game that Brooke had the 14 assists going against a zone, and she had 15 points the day before, and that's kind of the epitome of a good point guard, knowing what you need. You needed the offense on Friday. She was a distributor, 14 assists, got everybody else involved on Saturday.
Yeah, I think those are kind of her favorite games, is that she can kind of pass it from half court, and then somebody goes and shoots a layup. She enjoys that part of the game, I think, a lot. I think she likes to score fine, but she loves a good assist.
Telexa scored 17, and probably most important, she got some rest because, she's obviously a focal point. Teams are going to defend her, and you probably, what she saw this weekend is going to be a precursor of what she's going to see the rest of the year, and that takes a toll. And you've had a busy stretch as well, these back-to-back weekend games. for some of your starters to rest a little more and not needing them for the full 40 minutes, probably a big deal that's going to pay dividends down the road.
Yeah, I think it's huge for our game tomorrow that she was able to rest a little bit on Saturday. But overall, really everybody, I thought, just because I was able to. We played a lot of different people and we're able to just get different minutes out of people and see different people knock down shots that we get to see in practice every day that we haven't maybe really got to see yet in the game.
Well, Michaela Pilley is one. She came in. She played about 25 minutes. She hit a couple of threes. She scores 10. Tiana Davis plays 7.5 minutes, and she goes 3 for 3 from 3 and got some quick points there and finished with a dozen. You see some of the potential from some of these new faces.
Yeah, our guards are just so dynamic because they all can really just go to the hoop really hard, or they can knock down an open shot. And we were joking with Michaela yesterday that when she misses in the game, we're like, man, I can't believe she missed, because she just is always in the gym, always just knocking down shots. And so it's fun to see her just get out there and play and get in a groove and figure out what she can do at this level.
It feels like this team, you've got a lot of players who understand the game. We always talk about basketball IQ. It seems like, especially from these young players, which doesn't, sometimes it's in your DNA and they have it. But it seems like you've got a lot of gals who really understand how to play the game, and that's got to make it a lot easier, almost like coaches on the floor.
Yeah, no, it allows us to do a lot of different things just because they understand. They can make a read in the moment, but they also know the plays, and they know maybe a couple different positions in the play where it doesn't have to be she has to be here and they have to be there, and it has to be there. And everybody just is able to do a lot of different things there, which is awesome for me. You don't necessarily know that in recruiting them. I think you can kind of get a feel, but you also just really don't. And just the level and the speed of play at this level, I think, is an adjustment, but I think they've all adjusted really well.
One of the other freshmen, Britton Zika, her stats maybe don't show, but she's playing in some key times in the game and in there looking for some defensive stops, and she scores 7 against William Jewell, but she seems to be another one that, now that the season has started, has gotten better each and every time out there, and you've relied on her for some key situations in games.
Yeah, no, she's somebody that is just really strong with the ball, and so just at her position, I think she can handle it well for us when we need her to, especially in that first game. But she is also very analytical, understands the game really well, and so when she's sitting on the bench, she's reading, what are we doing wrong? How are they guarding her? How is she able to score? When she goes in, she can kind of go in there and clean that up a little bit, and you see us kind of go on runs when she's able to do that.
Well, and it was fun. I mean, she's from Wellington, just down the road. Yeah, Avery Lowe from Wichita, obviously, and Mays South, and you've always had a lot of Wichita area players, and it was good to see Katie DeGarmo at the game and others that came out, but for them to get a play at home, and Ellie Stearns had a huge fan club there. You had a big crowd, and that had to be just a thrill for them to get a play. Because you get the Newman game, and some years it's there, some years it's not, but to get a play back home and in front of the home folks and fans and teammates, former teammates, that's got to be pretty special.
Yeah, I think it's really cool, and I think it's cool to see how many do come, and says a lot about those kids that they want to be there, they want to watch them play, they care about them, they want them to be successful, and it does. I think it means a lot to have people there supporting you and knowing that you get to play kind of at home where you used to play, and had a great crowd there.
There was a lot of fun and a great atmosphere, certainly, and that's always the case. It's got to become the home away from home for 4 days straight every time you play at Newman or against Newman. It's a big crowd. I also want to ask you, Caitlin Schumann, she's kind of your three-point marksman. That's kind of the secret weapon. She hits another one. It's just so smooth and natural when you have a 6'4" post pop threes. It still kind of catches you off guard a little bit.
It does. It just opens it up so much. You can't play off of her, and people are trying to play off of her, and that's why you're seeing her able to knock down shots as they're hanging out in the lane, and she's like, okay, well, I'll shoot it then. And so, she has a green light to do it, and she's knocking them down right now.
Yeah, 27 assists and 14 turnovers. Is that probably the one stat that you feel this team needs to get better at, is lowering that turnover number?
Yeah, that's what we talked about that going into Saturday, is just really trying to execute, take care of the ball. We didn't get to execute like we wanted to because I played zone the whole time. I think tried to force a little bit, just trying to thread the needle a little bit too much and trying to make the home run play instead of just making the right play. Definitely need to do better at that. But so far we're still getting it done.
And you've had a lot. It's funny. You'll get an offensive rebound, and then turn it over before you even get a shot up. I know it's been driving you crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of been a weird thing. If you can just eliminate that number's going to improve dramatically.
It changes a lot. I think there's been 3 or 4 of those a game. So we've talked about that a little bit. And if you have the shot, take it. Otherwise, just get it out. Don't force it in the lane. That's where everybody's at. And we keep trying to force it in there because we see somebody, but there's also 2 or 3 other defenders in there too. And so we just need to get it out and work the offense and get another shot.
It almost feels like some of the turnovers are because this team is unselfish, which is a great thing, but sometimes you need to be a little selfish. And you got the shot, take it. Don't worry about the extra pass.
Yeah.
Sometimes the extra pass is good. Sometimes maybe not so good.
Yeah, and I think some of the turnovers too is just because they're going so hard.
Yeah.
And maybe a little bit out of control because they busted in there, maybe got the offensive board or cut really hard to try to make the right play and just was maybe just a little bit too out of control. So those are also turnovers I can live with. When you're going hard, you can't be too upset about that.
Yeah, not all turnovers are the same, but it'll be interesting to see how the Tigers handle that here. And they're going to have to be better tomorrow. Good team, UC Colorado Springs and at MSU Denver on Wednesday. A couple of big challenges from the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference coming up this week. Tiger Talk brought to you by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, offering the most comprehensive and advanced orthopedic care in western Kansas. Why travel hours when the best in the region is right here at Hayes Med? We'll take our final break. We will preview a couple of games this week out in Colorado as the Tigers take on UC Colorado Springs and MSU Denver. We'll do that next here on Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle.
Tired of equipment that's seen better days? Or maybe you have a project that requires a bigger machine than you own. This is Blake from United Rentals in Hayes, and we have you covered. Whether you're a contractor, a farmer, or working on your own project, we've got the machinery you need. Big or small, and everything in between, you can rent it for a day, a week, or a month. And if you're looking to own, we have a huge inventory of reliable used equipment for sale. Plus, we can service and repair the equipment you already own. Stop by United Rentals on South Vine in Hayes. We're your one-stop shop for rentals, used equipment sales, and repairs.
Inbound to Pili. Pili steps back, fires a 3. It's good at the shot clock horn. Michaela Pili has 5 in the first half to match her season high. It's 35-15. Now some of the action from Saturday afternoon. Tigers roll by William Jewell College to go to 4-0. A couple of more non-conference games on the road this week. They're Road Warriors. Tigers don't play at home till December 13th. That'll be fun. That'll be a big one with Pittsburgh State. We'll worry about that one a little bit later. Right now, Tigers gearing up for 2 tough ones out in Denver, out of the Auraria Event Center, home of MSU Denver. They'll play UC Colorado Springs tomorrow at 5 Central Time, and then at 4 Central Time on Wednesday, it will be MSU Denver. And UC Colorado Springs 1-2. The 2 losses to nationally ranked teams are going to be their 3rd straight ranked opponent. They're picked pretty high in the Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference. Had a good season year. This is going to be a tough challenge. They got a lot of really good athletes. They brought in some transfers. One of them, CU transfer, who also played at Minnesota. This might be talent-wise as good as a team you've faced up to this point.
Yeah, it definitely is. They play really good basketball. They kind of go 4 out, 1 in. They really try to hammer it into her. She's tough to guard. She's tough to guard before she catches, and then tough to guard when she catches. And then they have really nice pieces to go around her. So all 4 of them, they'll run an ISO play for each one of them. They can kind of shoot a mid-range or go all the way to the hoop or shoot a 3. So they're tough to guard one-on-one. So we just got to not rely on our one-on-one defense, but play good team defense.
When you have a dominant post like that, and obviously Alexa's going to get a lot of time, but sometimes she's got to be careful to stay out of foul trouble because you need her for the full game. How do you go about trying to slow it down? Is as much maybe helping to prevent the entry pass as anything else?
Yeah, it's going to be the battle of who's going to get fouls first, honestly. She runs the floor really fast. So offensively, she's just dynamite. And then defensively, I think we also can attack her. So it's going to be come down to that of who can kind of stay out of foul trouble and really work to make her it's tough to catch. And so, yeah, our guards just being around in the area, making them make a tough pass in there if they decide to do it. And then just knowing which way we need to force her once she catches. It's going to be crucial that our post get her going the right way and get her stopped in that way.
Well, and one thing, since you've taken over as head coach, and even when Tony was the head coach, you guys have never shied away from the competition. And I mean, you look at your schedule so far. I mean, you open up with a ranked Concordia St. Paul team. You're going to play these guys. They're not ranked, but they're. I mean, they've been in all these games. That they very well could be. And it just seems to make your team better. And it seems like your team really enjoys these games. I mean, they like that tough schedule, especially if you go out on the road like they have been, and they kind of bask in the moment, if you will.
Yeah, no, I think we've done a great job of stepping up to each level of competition. But I think if you want to do something late in the year, you got to do kind of something at the beginning of the year too, and figure out where you're at. And conference is never easy. And
no.
I mean, we're facing these ranked opponents, but I think they're very similar to who we see day in and day out in conference. And so you got to get prepared for that too. And I think we've done a really good job of obviously going 4-0 right now, and it's crucial we get another win again tomorrow.
And then you'll get done with that one, and I know all your emphasis goes into there. And you got to come back, MSU Denver on their home floor, always talented, and I know you said they're kind of up and down as well, and get some pressure on you. So it'll be similar to what you maybe saw in Wichita, but two challenging games here before a little break for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, their guards are tough and physical. They're going to get us in us on defense, and then they also have a pretty good post, and so they're going to be tough. They faced 2 conference foes last week on our side, so nice to be able to watch them against them and just see what they're going to do based on what we know that Washburn and Northeastern are. But yeah, 2 tough games and out in Denver, so that adds a little bit to it too.
Yeah, the elevation. I mean, it's a real thing. Just conditioning and all of those things. How do you handle it? Do you maybe go a little bit deeper on your bench if you have to?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we got to get a win. So I'm always about that game. The game we're in, we're worried about that one. We'll figure it out the next day. And so hopefully we'll go out there and practice tonight and just get in the gym and get some shots up and get used to it in that way and just take it one time out at a time and hopefully come out on top in the end.
And your recruiting class, a lot of these freshmen are from Colorado, like we saw in Wichita last weekend. I'm sure they're very excited. They're going to have a lot of friends and family there to watch them play. That'll be neat.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it, and I think they probably even have more just because it is close to the holiday, and so I hope they have a lot of family that can come in. They're kind of all from, actually, they moved to Colorado,
right.
So they have people, they're from all over, and so I'm excited and hopeful that they'll have a good crowd too.
That should be a lot of fun as the Tigers take on UC Colorado Springs and then MSU Denver. Then imagine a little bit of break for Thanksgiving, and then it's, as we said, conference time.
Yep, decided to play Tuesday, Wednesday so that they could get Thanksgiving, and then we'll ramp it up again kind of in the weekend and maybe take a day off next week so we can get ready to go on the road again.
Hard to believe it. Yeah, another road trip. Coach, appreciate the time, and we'll see you out in Denver tomorrow.
Thanks, Jordan.
There you go. Talia Cars, 4-day state women, MSU actually taking on UC Colorado Springs tomorrow out at MSU Denver. That'll be at 5 o'clock Central Time, 4:35 pregame, and then on Wednesday it is MSU Denver on their home floor at 4. That's going to wrap up the program. Certainly hope you enjoyed it. We'll talk to you again next Monday right here on Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by PwC from Eagle. So long, everyone.